Yeah.
Hello, First4 Adoption.
First4 Adoption is the national information service for anybody who wants to adopt in England, and so it's basically like a sort of front door. So when people are thinking about adoption, they can come visit our website or call us and find out lots of information. And as we're independent from any adoption agency, we can give them really clear advice as what they want to know, basically. Anybody can adopt. Basically, you have to be over the age of 21, you have to live and be resident in England, and you have to have no serious criminal convictions. So basically what we would recommend to people is that they come and visit First4 Adoption, because there's lots of information and it can be quite daunting when people think actually and take those first steps in terms of adoption, and then they can find out about exactly who can adopt, the process in terms of adoption, and also about the children that might be up for adoption in this country. The adoption process is a 6-month approval process, and it takes, there's 2 stages. So you have stage 1, which is a 2-month process, which is basically where they do lots of checks. So things like DBS check, and they'll check your home and have initial interviews with the potential adoptive parents. And then you go into stage 2, which is basically called a home study, which is where you talk with your social worker and go through the more intense sort of training and examination period. So at the moment there's around over 2,000 children waiting to be adopted. Many of them are older or may have additional needs, and the average age of children waiting is around 3 or 4. I think most children that wait the longest are those that are older or are in sibling groups. Around 50% of the children waiting are in sibling groups of 2 or more. Most people that come to adoption will look at the youngest child that they can possibly have, because they want the attachment when they're younger, and don't necessarily think that they can make the attachments even though these children are still children, as it were. So basically people, I think anybody who's thinking about adoption, the real reasons and the need for adopters is for those children that are waiting the longest. So as you say, those that are older or in sibling groups, they do tend to wait a lot longer than other children. So actually we're looking for adopters that can potentially take those types of children. Obviously adoption is a big undertaking, and you have to make sure that it's the right option for you. And really what people are asking for at the moment is people that would consider adopting sibling groups, or children that might be slightly older, for example. And that's mainly to keep those children together. So for example, at the moment, we may have sibling groups that might need to be split up if they're not found a family altogether, and that can be quite difficult for those children, obviously, to think about. So if people are thinking about building a family, to have a think about whether or not they want to have 1 or 2, or want to do it as one process, as it were.